7:30. We're located in the Village Chambers at 2350 South 25th Avenue. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Here.
Trustee Chamalave? Absent. Trustee Senior?
Here.
Mayor Thompson?
Here.
Trustee Shelby?
Here.
Trustee Armour? Absent. Trustee Miller? Is absent. Madam President, we do have a quorum. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we all have a moment of silence, please? Okay, thank you. Item 2 is public comment. I received no public comment from the audience. Moving us to item 3, communications. Got a couple of them. Give me a second. Okay, National Night Out 2022. Over at the Broadview Park District, Schroeder Park, 2600 South 13th Avenue, on Tuesday, August 2nd, from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., we are hosting National Night Out. Bounce house, face painting, swag bags, magician, hot dogs, and dunk tank. If you've ever been to one of our National Nights Out, you're in for a good treat if you're able to attend this year, August 2nd, Tuesday, 5:30 to 9. Next. On July 30th, we will have our annual community-wide garage sale from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It'll be held right on Roosevelt Road in the parking lot at 18th Avenue. If you have any questions, you can contact Village Hall Monday through Friday. And Madam President, that concludes our communications for the evening. Next is item 4, consideration to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the May 23rd, 2022 special board meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I know Trustee Armour had requested some revisions to the minutes.
Yes, ma'am, and I did review those, made those, and got them out to the entire board this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chamalave is absent. Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour is absent, and Trustee Miller is absent. Can, all in favor say aye?
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, this does carry. Madam President, did you say aye?
Yes.
Okay, this carries 4-0. Thank you. Next. Minutes from the June 21st, 2022 regular board meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Thank you. The same comments that I had with the previous with revisions to those minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Senior?
None.
Trustee Shelby?
None.
Trustee Chamalave is absent, Trustee Miller is absent, and Trustee Armour is absent. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, this too carries 4-0. Thank you. Next, item 5, consideration to approve expenditures. We're going to break this down into the two groups. The first, grand total of all funds, $290,099.56. This is from the period ending 6/30/2022. Need a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Open for discussion, Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Shelby, Finance Chair of the Finance Committee, will you please read the warrant list from 6/30/2022?
Yes, Mayor. The vendors are Airborne Equipment Incorporated, $2,853. Angela Crisco, $5,000. B&F Construction Code Services, $3,574.26. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, $137,900.71. ComEd, $3,257.57. Delgado Law Group, LLC, $13,940. Eco Clean Maintenance Incorporated, $2,504. Grasco Graphics Incorporated, $5,386.30. Markham Real Estate, $17,839.07. Mid-American Water, $25,696.69. Paramedic Billing Services Incorporated, $8,344.05. Third Millennium, $8,427.72. Zoll Medical Corporation, $28,202.80. And then we had a manual payment with the Laurie Security Agency on June the 21st, 2022, check number 82975 for $2,400. This check also replaces the check number of 82907 for $3,360, dated June the 14th, 2022, and the manual payments was $2,400. So $262,926.17 is 91% of all total expenditures in the amount of $290,099.56. Let's see here. The following funds were affected by these expenditures. Okay, there is the general fund in the amount of $241,730.53. The Roosevelt Road TIF Fund was $18,659.07. The Water and Sewage Fund, which is $29,709.96. Again, for a grand total of $290,099.56. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
None.
Trustee Senior?
None.
Trustee Chalmalavi is absent, Trustee Armour is absent, and Trustee Miller is absent. Trustee Shelby, you have any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalavi is absent. Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Mayor Thompson,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
No questions.
We're voting.
We're voting.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I'm
All
sorry.
right, thank you for your vote. Trustees Armour and Miller are absent. Madam President, this carries 4-0 to pay the bills.
Thank you.
Next item, grand total of all funds for the period ending 7/14/22, $1,194,199.02.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Finance Chairwoman, will you please read the warrant list?
Yes, Mayor. And this is the warrant list of July the 13th, 2022.
July 14th.
July, oh, I'm looking at this.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just July 14th. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, the vendors, AA Rentals Center, $5,596.58. Air One Equipment Incorporated, $7,900. A Lamp Concrete Contractors Incorporated, $315,322.49. L. Warren Oil Company Incorporated, $21,836.50. Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency, $214,255.14. Comcast Business, $2,939.19. COPS Testing Service, $3,356.50. Group Incorporated, $51,269.95. Chicago Title Trust Company, $50,000. Curry Motors, $28,514. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $53,864. H&H Electric Company, $5,003.80. Illinois Counties Risk Management Trust, $5,206.02. Mecca Tree Service Incorporated, $23,500. National Power Rodding Corporation, $9,350. Peter Burnson, $7,000. Russo's Power Equipment Incorporated, $50,757.87. Service Sanitation Incorporated, $2,910. Sherwin Industries Incorporated, $2,502.74. South Central Capital Group LLC, $5,750. Trigi Construction Incorporated, $279,313.66. Baker Tilly US LLP, $10,000. West Cook County Solid Waste Agency, $15,171.77, which is $1,171,320.21, is 98% of all total expenditures in the amount of $1,194,199.02. The following funds are affected by these expenditures. The general fund in the amount of, $172,025.17. The garbage fund in the amount of $66,441.72. The motor fuel tax fund, $291,313.66. The Cdbg fund, $14,884. The capital project fund, $78,714. And the water and sewage fund, sorry guys, my printing is $57,820.47. Again, for a grand total of $1,194,199.02. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalavi, Trustee Miller, and Trustee Armour are absent. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call vote?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Mayor Thompson,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
and again, Trustees Chalmalave, Armour, and Miller are absent. Madam President, this carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Next, item 6, presentations. We have none. Moving to item 7, village officer reports given at each second meeting of the month. We'll start off with the building department. Commissioner David Upshaw.
Thank you. Let the record show that Trustee Chalmalavi arrived at 7:44.
Thank you. Record reflected.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Board, residents of the Village of Broadview. The Village of Broadview Building Department report is on file in the mayor's and the clerk's office. If you have any questions, I'll entertain them at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions for Commissioner Upshaw?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalavi? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour and Trustee Miller are absent. Thank you, Commissioner Upshaw. Next.
Thank you. Next, Finance Department, Finance Director Tim Hicks.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, trustees. The report for the Finance Department is on file. Are there any questions?
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalavi? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour and Trustee Miller are absent, but Trustee Armour did ask about the May financials, and I know when I sent out board reports from the previous meeting from last month. Because of the storm and Juneteenth, the board didn't get the board reports. but the report was submitted to the board on July 7th. So if she goes through her emails, she'll be able to see the report for the financials that was submitted by the finance team.
Right, so she was asking about May financials, and so typically, because May is the first month of the fiscal year, the activity for May is usually all of, predominantly activity for the previous fiscal year, so we usually don't produce a May financial
Okay.
Statement.
All right, thank you,
But
Director.
what we do is provide an updated April, which is
The report that the board received.
right.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Okay, next is the fire department. Instead of Tracy Kinney, the Deputy Chief Martin will be reporting this evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Mayor and Board of Trustees. You've received our packet from the FD, and I'll answer any questions that you have at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Miller and Trustee Armour are absent. Thank you, Deputy Chief.
You're welcome. Can I make just a couple announcements?
Absolutely.
On behalf of the fire department? Just wanted to, since we're in our best days of summer, and I hope everyone's enjoying the weather and the fun that goes along with it, I just want to let the residents and anyone in attendance know a couple pointers on safety. Pool safety, just want to make sure that everyone keeps an eye on children near pools. Children ages 1 to 4 have the highest drowning rates, and most happen near swimming pools. You can find more information on this at www.poolsafely.gov. And I also just want to bring up one other safety point about barbecue grills. The Office of the State Fire Marshal advises everyone to take certain steps to help ensure that a safe summer is filled with everyone's favorite grilled foods and that we don't have any accidental fires or any incidents. So just make sure your grills are only used outdoors. Place them away from home, decks, railings, and any siding. Keep your children and pets at least 3 feet away. Keep your grill clean and never leave it unattended. That's all I have. Just those 2 good safety points.
Thank
for
you.
summer fun.
Trustee Shelby, did you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay, and then I just want to remind the residents on page 6 of our newsletter, our summer newsletter, the pool safety tips are there as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Please let the record reflect that Trustee Miller arrived to the meeting at 7:47 p.m. Next, we have the police department. In Chief Mills' stead, we have reporting this evening Deputy Chief Smith.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good
Board of
evening.
Trustees,
Good evening.
Broadview residents. The police department's report is also on file. Does anyone have any questions at this time?
I do, but I'll go through the board first. Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Oh, Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller? You okay? So I just want to address the tow situation that took place a couple of days ago as it relates to the ordinance of the overnight parking. And so we've apologized to the community and put out the correct information on what that tow was about. So the social media blitz, that I'm going to call it, we make mistakes too. And we're allowed to make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we own our responsibility. So the 13, I think it was 13 cars that were towed.
Yes, ma'am.
13 cars were towed, and I think it was quite a few that had the actual parking permit.
6.
6 did not have, 6 had the parking permit, so those cars were returned, and it was no financial burden for those 6 residents that cars got towed. The other 7 that were towed, they were towed legally, because they were not in compliance with our village ordinance. And so what I've asked the police department to do is to follow the ordinance as it relates to overnight parking, and we will make sure that we communicate a little bit better than we did this last time, because we do have overnight parking and restrictions in our village code that we need to follow, but we also have to communicate that with the residents so that it's not a financial burden or people are aware of what's taking place, so it's just not a surprise. So I just wanted to add that, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Next item, Public Works Department Director Matthew Ames.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You do have my report on file. And before I turn it over for questions and comments, there are a few things that I do want to just make you aware of from this past storm that we had. So we have more than a 5,000 canopy tree system here, and we know that several hundred trees were severely affected or damaged by it. We had to have, according to the payroll, shall I say, your warrant list, that immediately 25 trees contractually removed. And I will say that none of this would have been possible. At least we would probably still be cleaning up now, the Public Works Department, if not for the assistance of Cook County, most certainly John Daniels, who's our area coordinator, Mr. Ed Tully. They sent out several crews for more than a week, and you guys may have seen them out helping us during this disastrous time, so I cannot overstate the appreciation that we have for them. And also, our next door neighbors, LaGrange Park. Director Rick in the Public Works Department over there was phenomenal. They came over here and helped us for 3 days solid to help, again, wrap things up around here. So that being said, before you, and we'll get to it, the mutual aid agreement, we'll talk about that, but obviously this was somewhat inspired by the events and how it was responded to. I do know that we have obviously a cost with cleaning this mess up, and right now our running total is right at about $55,000. So we estimate about $10,000 in department overtime, $30,000 in contractual services, and the piles that we did collect. Our intent is to have it mulched, finely mulched, so that we can give it away to the residents. I intend to take as much home as possible, but depending on how that turns out is going to be a barometer for our disposal fee. So if we can mulch it and give it out, that's going to be great, but if not, then we're going to tack on several $1,000s more in disposals with the roll-offs. So, lastly, I want to thank the residents that did come out to help. There was residents that came to assist, that did what we asked them to do and assisting us in performing our tasks. So thank you, and you all know who you are. And if there's anything that Public Works can do for you, please reach out to us and let us know. So that being said, Mayor, I will turn it over to
Thank
the
you.
board for questions or comments.
Thank you. So before I ask the Board of Trustees if they have any questions or comments, I just want to ask, with the 25 trees that were removed, will those be replaced? Trees are air quality, so I need to know what it...
They are. So, Mayor, we do an annual, we plant trees every year. And the one thing that we have found is we plant them in the fall so that we can take advantage of the rainy season. But more than that, if in fact the residents request a tree replacement, we will most certainly plant one. But I'm sure we'll get around to replacing those vacant spots on the parkway. But right now, our priority obviously was where we just shifted from.
So I'm going to ask Public Works Department to provide us a list, or provide me a list of addresses where those trees are, so that we can track where we are with the replacement based off budget.
You're talking about the trees that were cut down?
Not the cut down, the replacement.
Oh, the replacement. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We can do that.
I got the list of the cut down.
Okay.
And then also to piggyback off of Director Ames as it relates to the crews that came in, the day after we had the storm, we had an emergency meeting with Congressman Davis and FEMA. And to our surprise, we found out that in order for us to qualify for emergency assistance, we had to meet a threshold of $19.2 million. And that's, I mean, that was like the surrounding town. So with all collectively, we would have never reached that threshold to trigger FEMA to come in to give us emergency services. So that was very disheartening information that we received from the federal government and as well as the state of Illinois as it relates to emergency services. And this is a big burden on our budget because we didn't plan or budget for these costs that now we have to occur. So those families as it relates to ComEd. Now, ComEd, if you were out without power on day 3, which was that Thursday, you can go to the ComEd website to file a claim to be reimbursed, but they're asking for all receipts and everything that they need to, and it's not guaranteed that you're gonna receive any monetary reimbursement, but you can file a claim through ComEd if you was out of power on day 3, which was that Thursday. So it's been very challenging for the mayors because Broadview got hit pretty hard. I know Riverside, North Riverside, and Westchester, we all had the most, well, I think we all had the most damage as it relates to when we look at the storm results. So it's just been conversations on how we can, how we can, you know, do better in emergency situations. So I've asked all residents to keep their receipts on the damage, whether you had a tree cut down, you had to replace a roof, a fence, or whatever the cost is. I mean, we can track what we occurred in cost with overtime and all of that stuff, and I'm asking the residents to do the same because we need to be able to tell a story on what the loss is and what that means and how now that we know that this is a possibility that can potentially happen again in the future, we have to be real intentional on the story that we tell. Like we know in 2022 this occurred and it cost this village, and I'm talking about total with business stakeholders, resident in the municipality or the library or the park district or the school districts that's in Broadview. I could go to them and say, it cost us almost $6 million, I'm just giving a number, $6 million a loss. And you telling us we had to meet a threshold of this. So I don't know what that number is, but it's probably close to about 2 million, maybe total, with our loss and some of the business loss that may have had. But, you know, hopefully people had insurance and things could be reimbursed, but we have to be able to be in position to tell a story, and that's why I'm asking for the tree replacements, because that's still a cost. And we need to know what the cost is so that we could tell, because this is part of the environment, and we need to protect the air quality, and trees protect our air quality. Trustee Abraham?
I do want to make a comment, you know, that with Director Ames, thank you and your crew at Public Works to be out there for long hours and getting the village cleaned up. And I know it was a very trying time, and I'm glad we were able to get the support. And you know, we had in our area in particular, the Beverly area, Cook County Department of Transportation, and they did an amazing job. They got there early enough, and they stayed until they were able to remove the trees that had been there for 50, 60 years that were uprooted and just laying there, and they were digging them out, and it was hot that day, and they did an awesome job. So that definitely helped your team that was out in the other parts of Broadview. So, you know, I think we have to commend at any time of disaster and to have organizations that come together in a team effort just to move it along and just to clean it up faster so that everybody can get back to their normal life. So, again, I'm sure that was very stressful, you know, you manage everything and to have people out there, but I do want to thank you and obviously your employees that did an awesome job, just like the police department just going around, because obviously with no power, there's no electricity, no lights, but again, just to make sure. And so it was a total team effort, Madam Mayor, to see how we reacted in that situation for 3 days. So definitely I want to commend the department heads and everybody that, you know, put the time and energy in. And, you know, we had our, you know, our people, our, you know, our population, our public, you know, they all survived. That's all I got to say. Everybody survived. So
Thank you, Trustee.
Mayor, let me point out to the board that I've asked Chris Baker with Hancock Engineering to be in attendance today if there was any questions about the construction projects that we did have. And I've asked Foreman Glenn to be here. So here it is. If you guys got anything you want to know, I've got 2 other individuals in the room that we should be able to provide thorough answers.
Thank you.
That's into my comments.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
I just want to say that Public Works is phenomenal. You guys kick butt. I mean, you guys were working around the clock, didn't get much sleep. Like, you guys did it. So, myself and Broadview, we appreciate you guys. a lot. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Give him a hand.
Thank you. Don't forget, we have the engineer and the foreman here. If you want to ask any questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
Did you hear about the lady that was out there cutting trees on her own and acting crazy? That was me.
Well, once again, thank you. We had some great help from the residents. I mean, I've seen whole families out clearing intersections.
Yeah.
So that being said, thank you, and it's all hands on deck at that point.
I just wanted to share that because my block, I was actually the only house that had trees that fell on the property. I had about 5. And so it was nice because, not nice that it's on my property, right? But all of the, not all, but a lot of my neighbors came out. I mean, instantly, they all came out to check on us. And in that moment, we were all like, it was just a weird thing that we were all kind of laughing, getting together. We were all like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But you know, we were all checking, we were all okay. And then Maywood Fire Department, I think it was one of the deputy chiefs was there also checking.
Maywood, Broadview.
Maywood.
Maywood, yeah.
Maywood, because they knew that, I guess, that area had got hit really hard, our little block. So Maywood was there. I said, who are you? I said, you're not Broadview. And he said, we're Maywood, we're helping out, you know, taking. So it was nice to just see everyone kind of come together. And then Public Works came out and they told me to stop hitting the thing like a piñata. And so they came with a bucket and they cut it all down. And I also wanted to mention that we had the summer.
You helped?
Yes.
You did?
And so they were out there helping too. I took pictures. I forgot to send them to the mayor, but they were out there also helping. You know, I gave them some popsicles, and so you know, it was even though it was something you know, Mother Nature, right? But it did bring us all together, and it showed that Broadview is strong. And so I just wanted to share that with all you.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. Trustee Shelby?
Yes, I want to thank Public Works and thank you, Director Ames. We live right down the street from one another, and I would see you after a long day's work, and I would feel so bad because I know you would work so hard, you and your team, and I just really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the residents coming together and helping. But great job. Very proud of you, and I'm glad to be a resident of Broadview. I love it. And thank you for being my neighbor.
Without a doubt.
Thank you. Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
So I hate that you're the only one getting kudos, and I guess I missed the rest of the department
You got a
heads.
foreman back there?
Right, and the leadership. I personally didn't call Public Works, and I actually got a call from Director Ames asking why I didn't call, because I felt like they were overworked. So we were outside kind of trying to pull up trees, and it was funny because one of the business owners on the end of my block said, hey, are you about to do all that by yourself? And I said, yeah. He was like, okay, come down here and do mine too. And I was like, yeah, not gonna happen, bruh. But I actually recall seeing even some of your office staff out working. Yara was out and she was driving and she was picking up leaf bags. And to me, that kind of showed that it was all hands on deck. Even though my dog got out and kind of terrorized the neighborhood, I was so glad the police department didn't call me. But to see everybody out, it literally was a kind of eye-opener for, I guess, all of us, even us sitting on the board. But I did see the police department out. I actually saw the fire department out. I actually was waiting to see Leticia, Miss Jones, walk through, because I feel like besides the Public Works Department, she is one of the hardest working administrators. So not to steal anybody else's thunder, but like literally I tell her every time I see her it's time to go home. So between Matt getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and her going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, I really feel like Broadview is covered. So from me to you guys, thank you so much. My son complained because he's at Home Depot, and the first thing he said was, I work for Home Depot, but I gotta help with the village cleanup. And I was like, so? And like literally, when he got off work, I was like, and now these trees that's in front of the house, let's get them moved out. So, but everybody kind of was hands on deck, and I appreciate that. And it made me feel, as all the trustees said, good to be part of the Broadview Strong movement, but to see you guys actually working. And that's all the departments, not just Public Works. Like, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Mayor, if I can say one more thing, and that is about...
Oh, wait, I wasn't done, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So, you brought up that the engineers are out. I feel like the alley repairs have been a thorn for me personally. North of Roosevelt Road, what is our expected completion date for those? Because I've had 2 tires that I've had to replace due to hitting some of these potholes. I don't want to call us the city of Chicago, so I won't say that. But I appreciate, because our mayor is way better than the city of Chicago mayor. But I appreciate the work. But what is like the estimated completion for the Roosevelt Road or the alleyway between Fillmore and Roosevelt Road, as well as what's the next step in the process for kind of that update for us?
Gotcha. So perfect timing. Alley, so we've been doing work in the alleys for a while now. We've run the water main north of Roosevelt from 18th to 25th, and then made water service transfers on 25th. Today, actually, we started repairing the alleys. Now, at the start of the project, we milled up the old pavement and actually kind of made the alleys a little bit smoother, just using recycled asphalt. But starting today, thank you, starting today, they started excavating the alley between 25th and 24th, and actually got a little past 24th. We're gonna go all the way to 18th. I would say by the end of next week, we should have the excavation done, and the plan is immediately to go to concrete. Now, the only problem, the unknown right now, is the quarries are on strike, you may have heard. So as of right now, today, there's concrete available to the contractor, but it's like on the verge of being out. So where I'm going with this is we may start installing concrete in that first alley between 25th and 24th as early as the end of next week, if there's concrete available. And there was a positive update today. They're gonna, Local 150 and the quarry are gonna meet on Wednesday morning, so we're hopeful that something comes out of that. But so yeah, very soon.
Okay.
Is the hope. The contractor wants to get that restored as much as we do.
Okay, because it's quite dusty.
It is.
On our side of town.
Especially without the rain.
Yeah.
Without much rain.
And I'm not a car wash person, so I don't want to run my water bill.
Someone came to me and asked me, is there something that they do about the dust? Do you
Yeah,
do something about that after a period of time?
Right, so do they like flush it out or?
Well,
Yeah.
what we could do and what we've done in the past is they come out with a water truck, similar to like when they're watering sod, and
Okay.
we could have them water down the alleys.
It's actually on the streets too.
It's on the streets.
You're
Real bad.
having issues on the streets.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But that was one of my questions, and I was glad that he pointed out that you guys were here, because not to make this personal, but it is kind of really dusty over there. So, and it kind of affects like when cars start driving up the street. Of course, now that dirt kind of comes off to the sidewalk, and who's cleaning it up if we don't call Public Works?
Okay,
We are.
We'll talk tomorrow and we'll get a plan.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that was it. Thank you. I really wanted to know about the alleys, and he answered that. Thank you. That was it for me.
But I just wanted to say, Mayor, as it relates to our summer youth, you brought up, and they have been, the ones that I have down in Public Works have been outstanding. We've entertained and hosted summer workers before, and this is by far, at least from my experience, if not the best group, then most certainly one of the best. So thank you for offering them up and making them available to us. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ames. Next up is Administrative Department, Village Administrator Leticia Jones.
Woo-hoo!
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, and residents. My report as well is on file with the clerk's office. Do we have any questions?
Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No question.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions. So proud of you. No questions.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
I don't have any questions, but of course I have a comment, because I wasn't here, y'all, so I'm sorry. But besides seeing her all the time in the office. I do appreciate the work that you do for us on the village board, because while we have the mayor's assistant, Miss Sierra, I feel like I come to you a lot for things, and I appreciate the fact that you never close your door and you keep that door open, and that's truly what an open door policy means. And personally, to watch you work with this current summer youth program, but as well as prior youth programs, my daughter is a product of being a part of the Village of Broadview summer youth program, and she raves about how much experience she got from Broadview and what she takes back to her organization, or let me be quiet because that might be a bit much, but what she's doing at college, and this is her last year, and she says, Miss Jones helped me grow and helped me be a better person. And for that, I say thank you, because from the bottom of my heart, sometimes I can't help her grow and be a better person, because instantly I'm thinking I'm in mother mode, so I'm gonna take fight instead of flight, and you've taught her how to stand up and still be responsible. I almost cried then. But I'm gonna try not to be like the mayor, because she cries all the time. But thank you. And as well as Director Ames, he showed my son a lot about being in public works and what he needs to do to keep his home maintained and everything, because he cuts the grass every other week. But just for you, just to see you here all the time as a reflection of the Village of Broadview. Thank you so much.
So Ms. Jones is a Jill, and we've been together the last 20 years, working side by side. And I know the value of her leadership is, I'll put her up against anybody. Anybody in this room will not outwork her. She gonna stay up late. She gonna get up early. She gonna text you. She gonna call. She gonna send an email at 2:36 a.m.
That's right.
But that's just who she is. She don't know how to
Turn it off.
She don't. And she's, ever since I've known and worked with her, she's never changed. And that's why I love her, because she's never changed. She is really true to herself. And she is the most lovable person that I know. As it relates to the youth, when we started summer work employment at the Park District, we had probably about 21 kids. And out of those 21 kids, I can truly say most of them have either graduated from college, are in leadership roles, are elected officials. They are doing some amazing work. And so when we had an opportunity to bring the summer youth program, because I know it's taxing on the department heads, but when we had our meeting with the leadership here, the first question I asked was, could we implement some of the young people in the fire and police department, because we've never done that. They've never had access to go work for the fire chief or the police chief. And this year, I think it's 2 and 2 on each side. And just hearing the stories from the leadership about the young people that's working with us, they are intentional. I know I talked to Director Ames a couple of days ago, and he was telling me about some information he had shared with the youth as it relates to Frederick Douglass and the July 5th speech that he did. And the young people didn't know who Frederick Douglass was. No, it's the July 5th. It's about 4th of July, but the speech was July 5th. And they didn't know who he was, but they did their own research to figure out who this man was. And it was like a phenomenon that they took the time out to learn something about history. And when we talk about Juneteenth, this is the work that we do here, the leadership that's here, that's working with the young people. They are pouring into them. And I know some days are probably harder than others. And I've invited them to come to the board meeting tonight, because I want them to see how we legislate, how we interact with one another on the board, what goes on at a board meeting. Because their official last day is June 29th, and I know they look for the 15th and the last day of the month, because you know what time it is. See, they shaking their head. But we appreciate that, we have some young people that are real intentional about learning new things. I mean, we had one young person that suffered from anxiety. And just hearing the stories of how the peers that work with her, how they embraced it. It made her feel comfortable in that workspace. So they learning about a person with a disability and how we don't treat them different, we treat them the same. That's the work that we should be doing. You know, working in the building department, those that's going out on inspections, they see what we do every day. When Greg go out and do an inspection, how people may cut up on them. They seeing it in real time because you can't believe the stuff that happened. And Ms. Jones and I, we always say we can't make these stories up. It's really the truth. And so we want them to learn as much as possible that they can. And I have to say thank you to the Board of Trustees. Because guess what? We wouldn't have been able to do a summer youth program for 14 and 15-year-olds without it being in our budget. So I thank each and every one of you all that approved that to get done. Because although they may have learned a lot from us, we've learned a whole lot from you all. And it means so much to all of us that's adults. I mean, yeah, we are here and we have things that we have to do, but you all don't know how much you've taught us. You've taught us a lot, and we are grateful for that. So I hope you all had a great experience in working for the Village of Broadview. And I know they talk. Can you kind of talk about the mentoring thing that take place on the Friday stuff? Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, first, can all of my young workers please stand up so that the trustees can get to see you? I'm proud of you all. You know I am. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, young people. I just want to let the board and the community know that Monday through Thursday, our youth work in all 5 departments. When it comes to Friday, we just kind of coordinated that and called it a mentee mentor day. And of where different Fridays, they have different assignments that they need to do. So our first Friday of where, we did vision. What is your vision? So they created vision boards. Then we had another Friday of where we looked at resumes. How do they write their resumes? How do they complete a job application? So that Fridays is just giving them time so they can really look at themselves, look at what type of career that they want. Because what we don't want them to do in the Village of Broadview is to stop their growth. We want them to exceed, to stand, and to reach the highest level that they can. So it is our job in the Village of Broadview, all department heads, and I do appreciate you really being part of this movement because they are awesome. When I say awesome, they are awesome. So I thank you, board, and I thank you, Mayor, for just giving us the opportunity as department heads to change lives. And we look forward where they can come back and they can be mentors of those that are behind them. Yep. So I thank you.
Thank you. Before I conclude, I want to add what we added this year for those young people like Lachey and Taylor. They worked for us in the past. And so what we created was we created a pathway for them to be the supervisors over this group. So they have to troubleshoot issues and concerns or help with paperwork, or if a department head had an issue with one of them, they go to the team lead or the supervisor of that, because I'm not in the office every single day like Ms. Jones is, and her schedule is packed. So we implemented a leadership role to give leadership qualities to those that's in college. So that's a resume builder to give them an opportunity to say, when I was at the Village of Broadview, I supervised 5 summer interns, because we don't call them youth workers, we call them interns. We supervise 5 summer interns because we want to create leaders. And in order for us to create leaders, we have to put people in leadership roles to help them groom to be a leader, how to be a good employer. And so I'm real proud of Lachey and Taylor in the work that they've done. We went to the White Sox game and we partnered with Mayor Harvey, the Village of Bellwood, and this was our recognition to them to say, we just want to expose you all to something different. We want to show you that we can have fun and be at work and, just really have a good time. And a lot of them have never been to a professional baseball game. So Mayor Harvey and I, we are honored to be able to give them that opportunity in these programs. And I think it was 50 of us total. But it was a good experience for them. So just stay on track, and as you finish out your summer, just make good decisions. Because remember, you all have free will. You have free will, and you can make good choices. And if you have trouble, we even got some that's talking to our social worker because they imbalance and they just need to talk to someone. We've created a pathway to help with the mental health component. And that's our role as elected officials, is to provide a resource to everybody, especially our young people. So thank you, and keep doing a good job. Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Mayor, I just have one thing. I just wanted you and the trustees to know our Juneteenth event was awesome.
Yes, it is.
Our young people, our interns, when I say they stepped up and they stepped out and they ran the course, I mean, they just gave us some things that, you know, we need to look forward to when you talk about that age group 13 through 18, because that's a crucial point, and of where they brought it, you know, among me as a department head of saying, okay, you know what do you have for them? So what they did was they got out there and they were brutally honest, and I appreciate that of them, of telling us this is what they look forward to with any events in the village of Broadview, in their community. What do we have for them? So that's what's going to be on our radar moving forward. But I just want to just give some figures so that the board knows, the mayor and the trustees. The income that we took in for Juneteenth was $75,447. Our expenses was $75,150.16. So we had a surplus of $156.16.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. A surplus is a surplus, and we take it, right? All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk.
All right, thank you all. Next is item 8, old business. We have none. Bringing us to item 9, new business. Item A, a resolution authorizing and approving expenses related to trustee Judy Miller's attendance at the National Black Caucus Locally Elected Official, NBCLEO, Summer Conference for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
I motion. Second.
It's been motioned by trustee Shelby, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
I think I have to recuse. Do I?
You can ask questions. I mean, you don't have to recuse.
I don't have any questions. I'm like,
It just has to be approved via roll call vote.
So I just wanted, just for transparency, this is in our budget to expense for conferences for the Board of Trustees. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
We sure can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller? You want to go, right?
but I think because it affects me, I'm supposed to recuse, right?
You're not seeing a financial benefit from it.
Yes.
It's an educational benefit.
And Madam President, this carries
Okay,
5-0.
thank you. Yes.
Thank you all. Next, item B, a resolution authorizing and approving expenses related to the attendance of the village president and certain trustees at the National League of Cities City Summit for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you. This is also in our budget for educational purpose. Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Madam President, this carries 5-0. Next item, C. A resolution of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, supporting a Class 6B real estate tax assessment application by Verde Properties, LLC, for an industrial facility located at 2315 Gardner Road.
Motion to approve. Second.
Been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. Commissioner Upshaw, you want to tell us about this 6B?
Yes, this application before you is from Verde Properties. We actually have the owner, Karen Coley, who is here. This is nothing new to the Village of Broadview. In 2019, 2401, we did 2401 Gardner Avenue. In 2020, we did 2000 Parks Drive. And before you again this evening, we have 2315 Gardner Avenue. What the Class 6B classification is, it's designed to give a tax incentive to businesses coming or new businesses or a new facility coming to Cook County. It may be rehabilitation of an existing structure, or it may be an abandoned structure. It consists of 12 years. The first 10 years, it would be at 10% of the market value. The 11th year would be 15, and the 12th year would be 20% of the market value. In industrial property, the typical tax assessment as it relates to market value is about 25%. I support this recommendation. Karen Coley has not only has she contributed to the community. If you guys ever had a chance to go to the facility, 2104 Gardner, it is phenomenal. And their business, she's doing very well, and so she is expanding. So she purchased another facility, and we want to help as it relates to the Village of Broadview, promote new businesses in the Village of Broadview, support new businesses in the Village of Broadview, and provide them with any incentives that we have. So that concludes my report, and I'm open to any questions.
Thank you. So just let me clarify some things just for accountability. So the Village of Broadview, we have the option to support a local business in the industrial area for a 6B, but we also want to hold the business accountable to, you know, what it means to the Village of Broadview, because it can't impose a tax burden to us, the resident. So Commissioner Upshaw, can you tell us what the contract says as it relates to the financial component of it, like what they will be responsible to give back to the Village of Broadview on an annual basis?
Yes, so on the agreement on page 2, it talks about that the owner agrees, and we've had this conversation, to reinvest a portion of its property tax savings from the Cook County 6B real estate tax assessment classification in the amount of $152,391. The owner agrees to pay the amount to the village in 12 annual installments of $12,699.25, and that's to fund capital projects in the Village of Broadview.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Child Malapi? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
She just stepped out.
Oh, Trustee Miller is absent and Trustee Armour is absent. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call vote,
Sure
please?
can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalabi,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustees Armour and Miller currently are absent. Madam President, this carries 4-0. Thank you all.
Thank you. Sure. Can you come to the mic?
We are so incredibly proud to be part of this community. I think nobody could say it more, that we've come a long way, haven't we, Greg? There's some heads nodding. We've come a long way. But the leadership in this room and has just supported our growth, and we believe so much in sustainability, and we believe so much in empowering young people. And on behalf of SBC and my company Verdi, we would like to sponsor the 25 trees that went down in the storm. So I look
Oh, Karen, you are just, this woman is just so phenomenal. I mean, and I'm not saying it because she's here. I talk about her when she's not in the room. But she is so phenomenal to the Village of Broadview. She actually chairs our sustainability committee for our environmental space. And and she also is a Broadview Business Association partner, and she's on the board there with the Broadview Business Association. But they have like the greatest leadership, and the support system. They support the Park District initiatives. They do a lot with young people. I know one of the young person that worked with them last year is a Howard student, and he was so good that they wanted to pay him to work from remotely to help them in Broadview in Washington, D.C. So the work that they doing it's easy to support when it's reciprocated. So we appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you. That was a surprise.
Thank you so much.
I know. Okay. Yes.
All right, thank you all. Next item D, a resolution awarding the contract for the Cdbg fiscal year 2021 alley improvements project to Triggy Construction Incorporated after competitive bidding for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
I second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Shelby. Madam President.
Thank you, Director Ames or Chris.
So speaking of alleys, we get two more. The village received a grant from Cdbg, Cook County, for $200,000.
Wow.
Good. Good. That'll pay for a good chunk of this. Triggy Construction was the low bidder at $364,086, which was about $20,000 below the engineer's estimate, so that was good news. Additionally, they just did 16th Street, so they have previously worked in the village and they did a good job with that. So the alleys are both north-south alleys between 19th and 20th, south of Harvard, and then between 16th and 17th, south of Fillmore. So upon completion of these north-south alleys, I believe that'll be all north-south alleys north of Roosevelt that will be concrete.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham. You have any questions or comments? Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? No questions. Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
No, but I'm excited. I'm telling y'all, I'm dead serious. Like, I actually am an alleyway person.
What does that mean?
I'll tell y'all later. I'll tell y'all off the record. But I like the alleys. And I like alleys that are clean and safe and that I don't have to worry about buying new tires for. So I appreciate the fact that we have a grant for this for $200,000. So that's even more exciting. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, we sure can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next item, E. An ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 3 of the Broadview Village Code of Ordinances regarding liquor control and a new license classification in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. Commissioner Upshaw, you want to tell us about this?
Yes. The mayor has been very supportive of expansion of new business and new opportunities in the village of Broadview. And this particular ordinance is to add a classification. It's a class, I think it would be Class K classification. The reason why we're having an additional classification, currently we have 10, this would be the 11th one, is that as we are out promoting Broadview, an opportunity came up to bring a new gas station to the village of Broadview. And one of the conversations that was had, we talked about video gaming, which in order to have video gaming, you have to have a liquor license. You have to have a liquor license, and then it's submitted to the state, and the state will consider you your license for video gaming. And so that being said, we started to have that conversation and further conversation with businesses, specifically gas stations. And so we thought that would be apropos to add a classification as we look toward the future, as an opportunity may present itself. And so this ordinance before you is for a Class K liquor license that deals specifically in the ordinance with, and I'll read that small section. It deals with filling stations, a gas station, a service station, or any other location where gasoline, diesel fuel, or gas haul may be sold or offered for sale. And as it relates to the conditions of the license, the times that are currently on the other licenses will all be consistent.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
How will this affect the current gas stations that are, or filling stations that are already in the village that might not have the same liquor license?
It will not. Number one, they have to request it. It will be an ordinance that is open to everyone who applies. Mayor Thompson, we have one liquor commissioner in the village of Broadview, and that is Mayor Thompson. And we are not like any other municipalities or the city of Chicago where we got 85 liquor licenses sitting around to be issued. It is a per request, and it is all based on what's best for the village of Broadview and what is currently going in our community. And right now we have we have 3 gas stations in the village of Broadview.
So how many Class K licenses would be available? Just one?
That is correct right now.
And it would be up for first come, first serve, kind of?
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
We sure can, Madam President. We're voting on this. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalabi?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, F. An ordinance authorizing execution of the Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network Agreement, IPWMAN.
Motion
To approve.
second.
Been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham, seconded by Trustee Miller. Madam President.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about this mutual aid agreement?
Yeah, it is. It's just that. It's an agreement with the Public Works facilities in the state of Illinois to provide mutual aid upon request. It's a $100 a year membership fee, and that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No question.
Trustee Senior?
No question.
Trustee Chalmalabi?
No question.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
Yes, so, not for you, but just a comment. I do believe that we do need mutual aid. Just the mere fact of what happened with the recent storms shows us that it's great to have these partnerships. I heard that LaGrange Park actually came over to, I think, Trustee Abraham's area, so I agree on the plus we got an extra $100 and something from Juneteenth, so this should kind of offset that, so yes.
That's not the right fund.
Transfer.
But I do want to add, I think it's important that we do have mutual aid agreements as it relates to public works, because we provide mutual aid for fire and police to our surrounding community, so it just makes sense. Yeah. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalabi?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next, item G. An ordinance authorizing and approving the disposal of personal property from the fire department and the police department, and to purchase a vehicle for use by the deputy fire chief for the village of Broadview, county of Cook, state of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Chiefs, so you want to tell us about the disposal and the new purchase? So,
Yes.
because so the vehicle is transferred from the police department to the fire department to assist, but there's been some things going on with the vehicle.
Sure.
Yes, Mayor. The vehicle in question is a 2016 Chevy Impala that the police department seized many years ago when we had undercover detectives that were out in town doing undercover work. When we disbanded the unit, the vehicle literally was on the police department's rolls. It sat in the back parking lot. We really didn't get much use out of it. But when Deputy Chief Martin was hired by the fire department, they asked if we had any extra vehicles that we could give to him so that he could have a department-issued vehicle. We changed the title from the police department over to the fire department. Deputy Chief Martin was then issued that vehicle, and then he could tell you what we actually gave him.
Yeah, so it was very generous of the police department to hand that over to us, and I am grateful for it. We have an in-house mechanic that did quite a bit of work on that vehicle to remove it from being a so-called police vehicle to a fire vehicle. But in reality, passenger vehicles don't meet the needs of a command staff vehicle due to the lack of space for equipment. Case in point would be a command staff board where I can do accountability on a fire scene or carry certain tools along with also my fire gear, my Cdbg, among other things. They're very bulky, they take up a lot of space. We made it work, and it was fine, but then over time we found that there were some other issues with the vehicle that would come up. Just to give you an example, one, it won't pass emissions. We can't figure out why. We can't get it to. We've tried, and we've tried to update it. It's a code error, we can't figure that out. The air conditioning works intermittently. We did have to replace some parts to get it up and running. But ideally, it just doesn't meet the need, and what we're asking for is something that falls in line with what the chief currently has, so we can mirror that vehicle as part of our fleet and then create a replacement program over a year's time. So once we get the use out of that, we start to rotate these vehicles and come up with a plan to purchase new ones in the long term. Okay. So the vehicle that, just to give you some background as well, they're no longer allowing build-outs of police or fire vehicles. They're just not available. The market is dry, so to speak, of any police-style vehicles or fire command-style vehicles. So what we had to do was I had to go out and research, and to follow in line with what Chief Kenny had done, she had pioneered as a fire chief getting a pickup truck instead of going with a Tahoe or an Explorer. And the reason for that was because all the new recent studies have come out that there's a lot of dangerous chemicals and carcinogens that sit on our fire gear. And what they were finding was when that fire gear sits in the cabin, in the same cabin that you're in, following the fire before you have the opportunity to wash them, you're being exposed to those things. So having a pickup truck allows us to put it in a separate cabin and keep it in a separate place. It's not anywhere where anyone's gonna be in the vehicle and near it, plus now we've also put them in bins. And the pickup truck style just allows for us to carry more stuff. It's modular. It allows me to put a command board, tools, flashlight, gear, Cdbg, and those kind of things. And it's also, this is my opinion, a more anti-theft deterrent vehicle versus an Explorer Tahoe where you could still, somebody could still break in and steal that stuff. So I think the pickup truck makes a lot of sense. It falls in line with what our current fire chief's already doing. I did find one on a lot. It was difficult to find some. So the one that I found meets the needs of what we were looking for. And then to just talk about our trade-ins, what we're asking for. Haggerty Chevrolet has offered $6,000 for the 2016 Impala and $5,000 for the previous deputy chief's pickup, which is a 2005 Chevy Silverado. And that one is just, it's high mileage and it's time. And I figured this was an opportunity for us to get something for those vehicles. And given the market, we can't find anything, at least they're more generous with the trade-ins right now. So it was a good time to take advantage of that at least. So.
Well, thank you, DC. So the total amount for the new vehicle is $36,500.
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No, other than it was a good presentation. It gives a whole overview of what actually is going on with these vehicles in the future, so I'm good with it.
Thank you, Trustee Senior.
No questions.
Trustee Chamalave.
No questions.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes, I have a question. So you said you got 6,000 for the 2016. 16,000?
No, I'm
No,
sorry. It's a 2016 Impala.
And you got 6,000 for that, and then you got the 5,000 for the other. So the 11, you had 11,000.
$11,000 was allocated for trade-in value, which
So-
reduced the price of the vehicle
To 36?
to $36,500.
The original amount was $47,245.
Okay.
Trustee Armour, that's it? Oh, thank you. Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
No, but just for the record, we don't have a big theft rate, so nobody will really take your Impala or your Tahoe. Since I, kind of chair the police department too, don't do that. But no, I appreciate the fact that you guys are using resources to kind of pool together to take the burden off the taxpayers, me.
Well, I don't worry so much about the vehicles, I do about the gear.
That part. So say that part, because I don't really need a defibrillator, but I will let go.
That's really where I was going.
Okay.
The gear is expensive, it's hard to get. Fire gear in itself is taking a year to get.
And we don't want to buy that
Not that
again.
anybody's gonna want that, but some of the tools that are in there, the flashlights, and some of the other higher expense items that come along with that, we wanna protect those.
Okay. Well, thank you for pooling resources together to get rid of vehicles. I mean, I had a vehicle that didn't pass emissions years ago, and I know how much work it can be to try to get that to go through. So thank you guys for figuring that out, but that was it.
And
Thank you.
The last thing that I wanna say, I should have started with this. I'm also responding from home quite frequently. So reliability was something that the chief and I had talked about, especially in the winter. Being able to get to Broadview or even surrounding mutual aid calls that I've been responding to recently, because I'm so close. I've been responding to calls outside of the normal scope of work hours. So having something that's reliable.
That's a part of leadership. We do things outside of our normal work hours.
Absolutely.
Right.
But I will say this, you're lucky you got the board you have today, because many years ago, you would still be driving that 2005. And going out to the car and it won't start and you can't get to the fire, because you on duty.
Right.
So, thank God you don't have that.
None of us were on the board in 2005, right? Was you?
Because years ago, they would go out on calls and the car would stop.
Right. Public Works would come and jump it, though.
So it's a different, so,
I did put a jump pack in the Impala because it didn't start a few times.
so you understand.
We got past it, yeah.
All right,
It's still
thank
got
you.
there.
Thank you, DC. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call,
We
please?
sure can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent, Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and this too carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next, item H.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item H is consideration of an application for a business license requested by Amore Strategies Incorporated,
Motion
Located-
to, sorry.
located at 2333 South 15th Avenue, to operate in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Thank you. Commissioner Upshaw, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, as just stated, Amari Strategies will be located at 2333 South 15th Avenue. It's an online business that will be providing all natural feminine care products. All inspections have been done and approved, and they have provided the proper documentation as it relates to the FEIN number and sales tax number. That concludes my comment.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No questions. Welcome
Trust-
to the neighborhood.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Senior,
No questions.
Trustee Malave,
No question.
Trustee Shelby.
No, just can't wait to get my products.
No questions. Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller.
That was so dry, Trustee Abraham. She was like, welcome to the neighborhood. Anyway, as a small business owner, outside of the board, I would like to say, welcome to the neighborhood. We need all the products that we can get to help sometimes. And this is not for the fellas, but for the ladies, y'all know.
It's for them too.
It's hot outside, so let's make sure we good.
Trustee, thank you for not asking me any questions.
I didn't want to. I really didn't. I was thinking about it, but I was like, you didn't even explain my business well, so I wasn't even gonna
Thank you.
Okay.
let it go. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Upshaw. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, we can. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Absolutely, yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent, Trustee Miller,
Of course, yes.
and this carries 5-0. Thank you.
Y'all silly.
All right. Item 10, application for the authority to expend funds. We have none this evening. Item 11, Village Clerk Report. I've got a couple of things. I just wanted to piggyback on everything that was said about the senior youth program. I participated in several over the years, and this group of young people is certainly one of the best I've seen since we implemented the program. This being the village's own program is impressive, and I'm appreciative to be a part of this one. Not to take anything away from any of the interns we have this summer, but I am absolutely blessed with the best intern, Sincere Faulkner. She is an 8th grade graduate from Lindop and the valedictorian of the school. And it shows every day when she comes to work and puts her efforts forth. She's responsive, she's responsible, she's mature beyond her years. Small stuff like not coming to work or not being able to show up for work, just the communication is on the level of a professional, and I would hire her in a minute after school and after her education is taking place. But she is awesome, and so many of the other individuals that are in the administrative department that I've had interaction with, they're so professional, and again, like the mayor said, it's our job to not only give them the skill sets to take them to the next level, but to develop leaders, and that's what it's all about. And I feel great to be a part of that. So thank you, Ms. Jones, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Board, for allowing us to have this program. The second item and last item for the evening for me is a little bittersweet, bitter in the context that is included in it, sweet in the results that have been derived from it. So I wrote a letter on July 12th to Mayor Thompson, and I wanted to share this information with the board as well. Dear Mayor Thompson, there are individuals here in the area that are unhappy with the village of Broadview's progress for whatever reason. Instead of contributing to the betterment of our community, they would rather pull resources away from the village and watch us go backwards. On June 9th, 2022, ex-trustee Verena Horn submitted a FOIA request that was both voluminous and unduly burdensome. The request listed several items and covered 12 different categories, which started on the front and continued on the back of the page of the FOIA form. The request was denied for several reasons, and a response was promptly sent to the requester in compliance with the state statute, asking to kindly limit and/or narrow the request to manageable proportions. On June 22nd, 2022, we did in fact receive an amended request, which did narrow the scope, and we promptly submitted a response on June 23rd, 2022. Horn then complained to the Attorney General's office, who contacted the clerk's office for a detailed explanation of the response and why the request was initially denied, and then later responded to it as it was. After providing the PAC, which is a part of the Attorney General's office, with all the details and correspondence, a final determination letter was prepared and sent by the Office of the Attorney General on July 11th, 2022, showing that the Village of Broadview Clerk's Office fully complied with the state statute in its response, and then the file was closed. So that's a win for the village. It shows that we did the work necessary, we complied, we did not go against the act, and it was a win for the Village of Broadview. On May 11th, 2022, Princess Dempsey submitted a similar request in that it was both voluminous and unduly burdensome. On May 16th, 2022, a duplicate request of the same May 11th, 2022 request was received. Many of the requests seem to be personal and targeted certain employees or officials within the village. Anytime research has to be completed by several departments in order to gather documents to answer a report such as this, or request such as this, personnel and resources that would otherwise be utilized to perform daily tasks and duties are pulled, and additional costs are incurred. This is cost to the taxpayers in the village. We need these resources to handle the village's normal day-to-day operations. Anytime a response to a FOIA request potentially yields in excess of 500 pages of documents, which this one did, it can be determined voluminous and unduly burdensome. The Village of Broadview does not have the additional resources and staff to process the frivolous requests that are being received by angry individuals who don't want this village to succeed. The village's response was to deny a number of the items in the request, again, due to being voluminous and overly burdensome. Promptly responding to the original request of May 11, 2022, we asked the requester to kindly limit and/or narrow the request to manageable proportions. On May 19, 2022, we received a response via email from the requester stating that she will not be limiting my request, in quotes. She then stated that if we denied her request, she would be contacting all parties, and this is quote, starting with the Attorney General, Public Access, and the FBI to do an investigation. She did that. And on June 1st, 2022, we submitted our response that did in fact yield several documents responsive to a portion of the request, but we denied the remainder of the items again due to being voluminous and unduly burdensome. While the clerk's office is certainly capable and experienced in processing these responses to all FOIA requests, it is in the best interest of the village to involve our village attorneys in the process for certain requests to ensure that the village's best interest is kept. And I want to thank at this time Attorney Jaworski for assisting the village with these FOIAs and the types of issues that we deal with and crossing the T's and dotting the I's, because it's very important that we, again, keep the village's best interest. But this too is costing the village and taxpayers money that we can be utilizing for other needs. Again, I'm thankful for Attorney Jaworski and her experience and insight on these matters. Just as in the previous discussed FOIA with ex-trustee Horn, the clerk's office received a request for review from the Attorney General's Office Public Access Council, PAC. We immediately provided the PAC with all the details and correspondence and had a discussion about the file. On July 8th, 2022, a final determination letter was prepared and sent by the Office of Attorney General, again showing that the Village of Broadview Clerk's Office fully complied with the state statute in its response, and the file was closed. I wanted to share this information with the board and residents to inform them that some of the things we deal with in addition to our regular duties on a daily basis. Again, I am a part-time clerk working without a deputy, handling all the duties of the clerk's office and then some. And these are the actual copies of the letters from the Attorney General. So again, Attorney Jaworski, thank you. Mayor, thank you for your guidance and all with this. And I just want to, again, make the board aware of what we're dealing with. So.
And I just want to say I'm always happy to help, and you're always very organized with these things, and it's a pleasure to work with you on them.
Thank you, likewise. I appreciate you. And Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Next item, 13, Village President, Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Good evening, everyone, the residents. So I just want to start with following up with what Clerk McGreer has pointed out to us, and I thought it was important for the board to be aware of the request that's coming in that's very burdensome to the staff. When we get FOIA requests, we have a timeline that we have to follow, and we have to be in compliant by a timeline. And sometimes the documents that's being requested, we have to do research to get it. And so I know individuals are either jealous, angry, mad, or whatever, but you never see the two people that he mentioned volunteering to help the Village of Broadview, the Park District, the library, or the school. I have not seen them, but I hear on social media that they doing all of this, which that's their prerogative. They can come to a village board meeting. We meet on the first and third Monday of the month. In the summer months, it's the third Monday with any concerns. One individual don't even live in the Village of Broadview. And it's sad that they kick up all of this dust. They have not purchased vehicle stickers, do not pay water bills, do not pay property taxes. They may pay a sales tax, and we thank them for the sales tax revenue because the commercial stores and Target Shopping Center over there is open for business. So we expect them to utilize the tax revenue that we deserve in the Village of Broadview. But it's unfortunate times that we're in. The village is thriving in the right direction. We've done an amazing job with the staff that we have. When you start looking at over the past 5 years of the work that's been done in this village, and I'm gonna start with Public Works, all the vehicles have been replaced. The staff is up to par. We paying competitive wages in the Public Works Department. When we got here on this administration, and in this administration is Trustee Abraham and myself and the clerk. I mean, it was just upside down. Then in the building department, they didn't even have functioning vehicles to go out and do inspections without vehicles stopping on them or not being able to charge when they out in the field working. in our police department, I mean, within the last 18 months, we've had a huge turnover. And a lot of it is, you know, when we got a new chief, some people decided to take flight. That's their prerogative to take flight, because you know what? For us to get police officers is challenging for all municipalities, but we want the right ones here working for the village of Broadview, for the people that live here that want to do the job. So I commend Chief Mills and Deputy Chief Pierre for, you know, for being intentional with serving with the public safety at the forefront. So that's commendable, because we didn't have that before. In our fire department, Chief Kenny, she's just an amazing woman. Literally, she is amazing with everything that she have on her plate. And to pick up a deputy chief that can take the torch and run with a level of expertise that we need in this village, commendable. The building department, we went to building administration. We've never had a village administrator. And for any success to take place, you have to have key leaders in place so that the leader can really lead and go out and, you know, network and make relationships to bring businesses to our community to make sure that things are, you know, a well-run machine. In our finance team, I mean, in the 8 years under the previous administration, they had 7 finance directors, 6 or 7 finance directors. Yeah. Since we've been here, we've had 1. So to say that we're doing things unethical or trying to research something, one of the individuals even sued the village for a FOIA request, and the village had to pay $20,000 to that person that's requesting a FOIA request now. So it's a game of how I'm gonna get the hustle and how I'm gonna be able to pay my bills. But not on the backs of the village of Broadview. We deserve so much better than that, and it's just unfortunate that it's a target, and I think I'm the target. But I'm okay with it, just don't come to my house. I'm okay with it, come to 2350. This is my house, this is where I am, this is where I conduct business every day. But I think what you did, how you articulated that conversation in your writings, Mr. Clerk, point on. Mm-hmm. Call them out every time. Every time. Call them out. The residents need to know, because they only show up at election time to cause havoc and chaos and confusion. And we've done so much work to get past the past. And so we are moving forward. We don't even revisit the past. We just continue to move forward. And we're moving forward with bringing new businesses into town, making sure we have the skill set in every department to move the departments forward, to make sure that this Board of Trustees is informed and well aware of what's taking place. So it just is what it is, but I appreciate your comments and your report, so thank you. Also, I want to talk about mental health. We had a suicide last week, a 21-year-old female. Former student of Proviso West High School, Deputy Chief Smith and Lieutenant Acom, we went and visit the family to give our condolences on behalf of the Village of Broadview and the Board of Trustees. And I don't know if arrangements have been made for them. I haven't talked with the mom yet, but I just want to say that we know that we are in some trying times as it relates to mental health, not just with our young population. On Sunday, I walk with the community on Sunday, and just even talking to the seniors that walks with us as it relates to mental health, and making sure that they are mentally sound in decision making that they have to make, especially those that are caregivers to their spouses. And so we have to get ready to be in position to be able to give some resources. So people in mental health crises or emotional distress can call or text 988 to reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Those who are not in a crisis but are seeking treatment options for mental health conditions can call 1-800-662-HELP, or the number 800-662-4357 is HELP. We are going to make sure that we put messaging around that 88 number, and that's usually come through the police department or the fire department, where they do it collectively. And I know we've had signage out, if you're in a crisis, suicide prevention hotline number, we need to get the messaging out, and we'll have them put some messaging on the billboards, on 17th and at the overpass at 25th. I think it's important that we address the issues that's before us, and it's going to take all of us to give input, to do some research and be intentional to get the information out to the community. So we know we in some trying times as it relates to that, and we send our deepest condolences to the young life that was lost. National Night Out, I don't know who's gonna be in this dunk tank, but I know it's a dunk tank. Because I don't want nobody asking me if I'm gonna get in it, because it's gonna mess up my hair. We talked about the summer youth. I'm really excited for these young people. It's just, they are just amazing. The interns and the program that's been put together and designed and laid out to, create a pathway of success. And we recognize even the vision board project that they did, that was the topic that Chief Mills and I had the conversation with them, and we talked about mental health and getting some services for them, those that wanted to be able to, get it out. And so we do have someone that's in a program talking to our social worker on a weekly basis with parental support. So this is the work that we're doing that's intentional to help them groom, and they may not go to college, but we're introducing them to the trades. We're trying to, show them the pathway to being a police officer, showing a pathway to being a firefighter, paramedic, or any other field. And they get to follow us around to see what we do every day, and that's why we invited them to come out tonight. The Highland Park terrorist attack, because that's what it is, terrorists in America. On Friday, before 4th of July, I was out with Mayor Roderland in Highland Park. Open venue, big event. And when that happened on 4th of July, I didn't take it personally, but I felt some kind of way, if that makes sense. And I couldn't imagine what I would do in a situation like that as a mayor. I don't, but I've reached out to her. We've spoken, via text. And it's women leaders that's mayor of cities is different from our male counterparts. It's just different. And it is real. It is different for us. But, continue to lift those families up in Highland Park and in the loss. But as we go through this process, other things are being identified, right? So we have to be aware and conscious. And so I got a text message from a friend of mine that's a close friend, and she asked me, and everyone knows I don't watch TV, but she asked me to watch this program. And the program is called A Chronicle of Racism in America, Who We Are, Netflix. If you watch that documentary, it will take you through a timeline of racism in America and what we as African Americans had to go through. And until we face what it is, we're going to continue to see what we saw in Highland Park, because now we're starting to hit home. We have to address some issues, and we have to talk about it and not be contentious and angry about it. We have to. So I encourage everyone, if you get an opportunity to watch this next flake, Who We Are, A Chronicle of Racism in America, is mind-opening.
Yeah, I saw that. It's great.
You saw it? Mm-hmm. So, and finally, I want to say this. So the Metropolitan Planning Council, so we're getting ready to start a water analysis for water affordability. And it's to conduct a quantitative analysis of billing and usage data to identify potential issues related to water affordability. Trustee Senior, Director Ames are a part of this, this meeting that we're gonna be working with them. And so within the next 90 days, maybe 120 days, we'll have a plan as it relates to when we look at how we look at from the officials, the staff, our water customers, and stakeholders to identify potential issues related to water affordability. And the end result is to produce a water affordability report summarizing the analysis and recommended tailored solutions. So the purpose is to understand, our infrastructure and our water and how we look at that. So about 2 or 3 years ago, we had put in a water rate increase because the city of Chicago continuously increased the water. But now we're taking it a step further of how we look at data and water and how it's transmitted in our own town and what that looks like to our big water users and what that look to the residential water users. So we've been real intentional on how we look at things before we just say, oh, we just gonna increase the waters because we gotta take care of this project. No, our water rates increase, we will have one more increase next year in '23, but we have to, the board have to start really thinking about what that's gonna look like for '24, '25, '26 in the future. So this is gonna prepare us to start having a conversation with the residents and our water stakeholders on what that's gonna look like, and we have to look at our infrastructure. And finally, senior luncheon is July 29th. I forgot to tell you this, Mr. Clerk, you didn't mention it. July 29th is the senior luncheon. All of the Board of Trustees are invited from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Schroeder Park. So that's all that I have tonight for you all. And I just want to say good night, and I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Oh, he mentioned it. The yard sale.
The yard sale? Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yep. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn?
Second?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Miller
I thought she
motion,
did it.
seconded by trustee Abraham.
All
All
in
in favor
favor.
say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we are hereby adjourned at 9:11 p.m. Thank you all. God
Good
bless.
night.
Good night.
Good night. July 29th.